The idea is to study lighting with the simplest object we can find, which today will be
the egg.
You can use my pick, or take your own egg pick. Let's get started. Figure out the gesture of the shape first, even if you know how an egg looks like. Now we can translate what we visualize into drawing a bit more easily. This sketching step is just to break down the reference for our brain. Next, let's decide where the light comes from.
Sorry, I'm having too much fun with the generated voices.
Coming back to our egg, let's place the shadow.
Bro, even for simple hatching I fail. Pun non intended but now intended. Anyway, 2,000 years later, let's place our egg sketch above as a reference.
Now, let's choose our base color. I'm using the default round mixing brush. As we do a lighting study, I recommend not to use the color picker tool, so that our brain can actually register and understand the color better.
I changed the base color plenty of times, so let's just skip to the next part lol.
Let's add a new layer, and set it to multiply mode. Don't forget to click on this button to enable the clipping mask function. That way, you'll be able to color only inside the base color.
Like this.
You why the TikTok voice suddenly?
Egg.
For the first layer of shadow, I use the same color as the base color. I decided to use the round mixing brush first, to counter my fear of adding strong shadows. Simply use the brush that you think fits best. See, now I'll go to our brush to soften the shadow. You can erase what you think might be a surplus with the soft or hard eraser depending on your need. Obviously, we can see that the shadow needs to be darker. Let's then pick a darker color. As you can see, I picked a color that is close to red, because we can see a bit of red in our picture reference. BTW, don't forget that we are doing a study together, which means I'm learning at the same time as you.
So sorry if what I say is not always helpful. LOL.
My goal is that you can relate to me, and that you feel comfortable learning together.
You are free to give me any tips as well. Let's grow together.
Anyway, I use the airbrush to smooth things out better. One of the advices that help me whenever I color shadows is this. Don't think of the shadow in itself, but think of the shape of the object. Because the shadows are what will give shape to the object. Thank you. Also, breaking things down into clear steps can help. For example, go from lighter shadows to darker shadows, as I did here. This will help you declutter your mind and not feel overwhelmed by the process. Because I know how you can easily feel pressured and disappointed during the process, I know.
Yeah,
know,
so
man.
frustrating.
So take your time with this. It's okay if it's not perfect or exactly accurate right away. Remember that we are always learning and polishing our skills further. Next step, adding the light. I added a new layer and put it as a clipping mask, just like the shadow layer. Although this time, I left it in normal mode. Just add a brighter color. So basically the same process as for the shadows, while keeping in mind the direction of the light.
Remember to observe your picture reference, because sometimes we forget. The reference is here to help us learn. No need to be ashamed to look at it. Let's skip the next part though, because I'm too slow. It's okay to be slow, but as it is a video, you might think it's too long and get bored and click another video. So let's just go forward. See you in the next step.
Update. Here I'm just adding a reddish contour to polish my bumpy egg.
Okay, the egg is not exactly accurate to the reference picture, but I'll stop here. Set me free and let me add the shadow under the egg instead now.
I added a new layer, placed under all the other previous layers. Then I'm using the lasso tool to define the shape of the shadow. This time as well, same, from base lighter shadow to darker shadow. This is my first egg attempt, so I didn't accelerate the process too much, so that you have the time to see the steps well. In any case, let's learn at our own paces.
First egg finished. Let's go do our second attempt.
This time, I placed the egg on a table more exposed to the sunlight. So obviously, there'll be more contrast on the egg. Let's break down our reference as a sketch again. It's okay if you don't do that step, but I feel like it's useful to avoid feeling overwhelmed and be all over the place. Even if you're still all over the place after doing the sketch, at least you'll feel a bit less all over the place.
What?
Yes. It's basically the same process as the first egg for now, so I'll accelerate. Here for the light, there is a change in the process. You can see the light on the egg in the photo is stronger. So we'll put the light layer into a glow mode. With this mode, the light appears stronger and more vivid. While editing, I realized that the light is too yellow compared to the photo.
Yeah, I was about to say this. Too yellow.
Why are you? Anyway, it's okay guys.
It's okay.
Time for the shadow under. We observe that the shape and location of the shadow is a bit different. TBH, I prefer this second egg. There is a bit of improvement compared to the first bumpy egg. It looks more smooth, and the shape is better. If there's an improvement on the same day, how much more improvement we can have if we keep on going. Let's keep practicing eggs, guys. Have fun and see you in the next lighting study.